The next part of this transformation story happens in Guatemala. And it doesn't sound immediately relevant, but oh, yes, it is later on down the track. This is the story. I was just leaving Nicaragua. I'd been working with the volcanoes in Ometepe, and I said to upstairs management, "Where do you want me to go next? I need a good sign." And so 6 people, all completely unconnected with each other, in the next 5 days came up to me and said, "Oh, you have to go to San Marcos at Lake Atitlan in Guatemala." And I went, "Guatemala, really?" I mean, I don't know a lot about Guatemala except that it is the most dangerous country in the world, and I think I'll need like at least a really safe landing spot or a bit of reassurance before I just fly off to Guatemala. So that night, a friend of mine who'd actually saved my life in Puerto Vallarta contacted me for the first time in just over a year and said, "Oh, you have to come visit me. I am staying on the shores of Lake Atitlan in a place called San Marcos." So, all right, okay, fair enough. Got on an airplane and off I went. And arriving in Atitlan, well, it is said to be the most beautiful lake in all of the world. Now, I'm from New Zealand. I know beautiful lakes. I have to agree. This amazing lake floats a mile in the air, supported by a mountain. It's got 3 mighty volcanoes all around it. The lake itself is the 4th. You get to it on this really hairy road. I came in the rainy season, so there was waterfalls cascading down over the road, and there was no barrier and a long way down. Ah, but when you see the lake, and it's got more Mayans per capita than anywhere else in the world, this little lake. And the way you get around it is on barcas. These are little boats that basically take you to the villages that are sprinkled all about this gorgeous volcanic lake. My barca was called the Titanic. Not very comforting, especially when the lake gets really rough. If you're going to go, don't go in the middle of the afternoon. Anyway, so David and I were on this barca, and it doesn't take very long until I'm starting to feel this thrumming and this humming underneath me. I'm going, "Oh, there's a city under here." And David's going, "I don't know anything about a city." Well, there is. We get to the middle of the lake, and I'm clearly over the top of the temple or some enormous place of power, and I'm just feeling energy coming up through me going, "Wow, okay, all right, I know why I'm here." So we get back to David's place, and we both fall into this deep trance-like sleep, and we both dream the same dream. I dream I'm walking through the streets of the city underneath the lake, and I come to the temple, and in the center of this city, outside the temple, I meet the lady of Lake Atitlan, and she's this little tiny Guatemalan woman, and she's dressed in tipica, the typical clothes of the region. And she thanks me very much for coming and says that she's called me because, well, Lake Atitlan is very beautiful, but it is also one of the most polluted lakes, and she needs my help. Specifically, she needs my Herkimer diamond. Oh. So I'd been travelling with this fist-sized Herkimer given to me by a really precious friend, Alan. And I've been with it for years, doing earth healings with it all over. And I'm going to need a bit more proof before I chuck it in this lake. So the dream ends, and the next morning it takes me about 20 minutes to find out that yes, there is a city underneath the lake, and 2,000-year-old pottery had been brought up just the year before, and yes, there is a lady of the lake, and she looks just like who I met, and I'm going to have to throw my diamond in the lake. And I get it, I do. I long ago learned that I'm just the legs for my crystals, but some are harder to give up than others. So, when you've got really big prayers to pray in Guatemala, you make a 5-foot hot air balloon and you infuse it with your prayers, and then you set it off. So that's what I did. I made a 5-foot hot air balloon and I infused it with prayers of purification and healing for the lake. And then I got myself a boat. Now, the reason that upstairs management wanted me to go to San Marcos is because there is a shamanic training school, Las Piramides, there. And it's such a cool place. It's pyramids absolutely everywhere. They sleep in little pyramid huts, and all the gardens are in pyramids, and they've got 2 courses, the course of the sun and the moon, that are 3 months and 1 month respectively. And of course the lady had organised it so a brand new crop of shamans were released straight into my arms, and I was able to fill in the gaps in their training and tell them what I'm doing. And they're, well, yeah, we'll be in that, because everybody loves the lake, of course. So I hire this great big boat, and off we go into the middle of the lake, and there we let off the balloon, and where it comes down, that's where I dropped my diamond. Oh, and I have video actually of it on YouTube. I'll attach it to this video. And I went back to where I was staying in San Pedro, where they have these big amazing baths for the community with the volcanic water from the lake. And I got in the bath there late that night, and I was sad. And I sat and I meditated with my baston, and I missed my diamond, and all of a sudden the lady of the lake appeared, and she was holding my diamond. And I felt so glad, because I mean, she's got it right. I didn't just chuck it in there randomly. And she thanked me, and we held hands, and her with her diamond and me with my baston, and we sent healing out into the lake, into the waters of the world. And that was the foundation for the very, very interesting story that happens next.